Alright, so this is 4.1 definitions vocab. So the first thing in the book they talk about is probability experiments. Alright, so these are experiments where you're going to be figuring out the probability, the likelihood, the percent chance of something happening. Now, the next word, outcomes, those are all the different things that can happen. Example, if we flip a coin, what are the two things that can happen? You can either get a head or you can get a tail, right? If you flip two coins, you can either get head head, head tail, tail head, or tail tail, all right? Now, no big surprise here. These are the different outcomes. Now, when you put all of the outcomes together, you're creating a sample space, all right? All of the different outcomes gathered together is the sample space. Here's a couple of examples. Let's say that you are rolling two dice together and you're adding up the pips shown. Pips are the number that the dice show. So on your first dice, you can either get a 1 through a 6. On your second dice, you can either get a 1 through a 6. So if you got a 1 and a 1, they would add up to be 2. You can get a 3 by getting a 2 and a 1 or a 1 and a 2. Sometimes it's important to keep track of the first dice thrown versus the second dice thrown. Other times it doesn't matter, like in this where you're just adding them up. Alright, so this is an example of a sample space for rolling two dice and then adding the total. Now there's other things you can do. A real common one is making a tree diagram. Let's say that you're going to flip a coin 3 times, and the only thing you're going to do is record the number of heads. So at each branching, I'm following a different outcome. So you have 8 different possibilities. You flip the coin the first time, you either don't get a head or you get a 1 head. You flip it a second time, and either you get no head or a head, no head or a head, and then depending which branch you're on, you're keeping track of it. You flip it the third time, and again, the outcomes are always the same. It's either a head or no head. So when you go down the entirety of the branch, whichever route you're taking, you can keep track of it. So if you got this branch in particular, so let's follow no head, getting a head, no head again would be that one outcome. We could look at all the outcomes, and then eventually we're going to make charts for this and make probabilities with this. But for now, this is just a tree diagram of the sample space versus a sample space. In both examples, I have all possible outcomes written out.